Hello everyone, it's Fung here. Today we'll be talking about real estate investing. And again, the information is sourced from the book The Truth About Money by Rick Edelman. So getting started, we'll talk about the appeal of real estate investing. I know on social media I see a lot of people talk about, buy a duplex and then do this and whatnot, and invest in real estate. So why is it appealing, right? Well, real estate investing is appealing because it produces income and growth, much like stocks, right? Because you get the income from the rent and then it grows in value. Your home grows in value, or your property grows in value. There's also tax benefits or deductions really for these properties, because you get deductions on the expenses of owning it and maintaining the property. And this might not apply if you're subject to the alternative minimum tax. Now there's a whole lot more problems than there are appeals, okay? So just starting off, it's much harder to sell real estate and properties than to sell stocks or bonds. And this leaves you stuck with the properties that you might not even want. Because then if you're stuck with the properties, you're gonna have to pay the carrying costs, like the mortgage, the insurance, the taxes, utilities, maintenance, repairs, security, you name it, right? There's so many expenses of just carrying this thing. And it's seen as a generally riskier investment than stocks or bonds. Now, continued on the problems. Buying property is not so simple, okay? It's not like Monopoly. You just land on it, just pay cash, and you have it, right? In reality, it takes tons of time to select the right property. You want to make sure it's close to nice, attractive areas and stuff, whatnot. So you want to make sure you get the right property. Then there's the whole settlement process, and that's going to be a whole cumbersome and tiresome thing. Then there's also a large cash outlay. So cash outlay is basically how much upfront cash you need to put up for the investment. There's a huge amount that you need to put up for investing in real estate. There's also a hassle factor. The hassle factor being a landlord, okay? You have to manage the property, you have to find the tenants, and you have to worry, will the tenants pay on time, right? Are they gonna trash the place? Are they gonna constantly call you in the middle of the night for assistance? It's just a ton of work being a landlord. Next up, we're going to be talking about the cash reserves, because you will be needing these because they're going to help you mitigate the risk. So you're going to need cash reserves, and you're going to want to have around 12 months worth of carrying costs. This is because there's a bunch of problems that you might not be generating income from your property, like the tenants being troublesome, right? It could take 90 to a whole year to evict some tenants, depending if they file for bankruptcy and the eviction protections and whatnot. So, and during that time, you might not even get paid rent, right? They're probably not going to pay you rent. And they could steal appliances, trash the property. So by the time you fix up your property, that's going to cost even more money as well. So it's good to have at least 12 months worth of carrying costs. Now, some tips for real estate. First is to buy several properties for diversification, right? You don't want to spec into all of one thing. You also want to buy properties that will be income producing ones. This way it'll hedge or kind of offset against the risk of your properties losing value, because at least your income is still going up even though your value is going down. You don't want to buy raw land. Edelman doesn't go into why, but just don't want to buy raw land, I guess. And you never want to borrow money to invest in real estate. We'll talk about that later. Next is that you're going to be liable for everything that happens on the property, right? Anything. So you could get sued very easily. So you want to buy liability insurance and form a LLC, which is a limited liability company for each property. This way it's going to protect your personal assets, and that way lawsuits won't entangle other properties with the lawsuit, right? The current other property lawsuit. And we want to talk about how your home is not an investment. A ton of homeowners think, oh my God, my home made so much money and whatnot. You should be buying a home because you love the home and not because it's going to grow in value, right? People think it's an investment because the average home value growth is around 4.6% compared to inflation's 3%. So that's, more than inflation. So people see that as appealing. And also when you sell the house, it looks huge, right? But this is because of the leverage from the mortgage. Right, the mortgage loan amplifies the growth of your down payment essentially, right? It makes it look so much more appealing. So that's why people think, oh my God, buying in homes is the best thing ever. So we're going to talk about why you should never borrow money for real estate. We mentioned that earlier. This is because leverage is good when you're on the winning side, but it is terrible when you're on the losing side, okay? Leverage is always a double-edged sword, right? So Edelman recommends that you buy investment properties with cash. That way there's no risk of defaulting on a mortgage, right? You won't miss any payments or anything like that, especially when a tenant doesn't make their payments or you don't even have a tenant to begin with, right? That way you don't have to default on a mortgage. This also reduces the 12 months of carrying costs because now you don't have mortgages involved in that carrying cost. But yeah, so recapping everything that we learned, first is that real estate produces income and growth much like stocks. It's harder to sell like other investment or than other investments. Buying, settling, and landlording is going to be really cumbersome. Okay, they don't talk about that enough online. It's going to be a lot of work to maintain and be the owner of that property. You're going to need 12 months worth of cash reserves because we talked about the risk of not getting your payments or income and whatnot, and how tenants can be troublesome. And just refer to the tips on the real estate investing, like that slide that we talked about earlier, if you want any tips. And your home is not an investment, okay? It should be a place where you live, a place that you love, right? People always think that they should sell their homes and whatnot. Yeah, I guess, but you should not treat your home as an investment. It's completely different. And remember that the mortgage is what makes it look so appealing. So again, never borrow money to invest in real estate because leverage is a double-edged sword, right? If you do, if it does, home values do go down, that's going to hurt you so much. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. You guys are not obligated to do so. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.